So let's get into the next one. I found this very
man.
This is intriguing to me.
Kia.
And yeah, Kia, dude. Kia. So all vehicles,
a bunch of stuff surfaced,
all manufacturers,
real recently, where they took this thing out. They're calling it the EV6.
Yep.
It is. I call it. It looks like a crossover to me.
It is
fits squarely in the crossover category that everybody else is doing, like the Ford Mach-E, the Tesla Model 3, Model Y.
Yep. Absolutely, and also that new Corvette Stingray EV that's going to be coming out.
If you don't know what we're talking about there, go back and listen to the previous podcast.
Yeah, it's coming.
This thing is crazy fast, okay?
It's unbelievable.
Before we get into the specs or the cars that it's humiliated, let's talk a little bit about the design. So if you haven't seen this, it is very... It's funny. It's going to fit into the segment we're going to do here in just a little bit about the future of law enforcement. But it's very sci-fi futuristic movie looking to me.
It moves. It's sitting there on its own. It moves. It just looks awesome. The wheels on this thing. It looks like the star the star blades that you can throw.
Ninja
you know
Star.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Ninja Stars, right? Yeah. It just looks awesome. They got huge brake rotors on this thing, which means, guess what? It goes really, really fast. And it stops very well, apparently. But it's cool, man. It's almost Tron feeling. I get this Tron feeling, man.
Sci-fi tech, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's a very different design for Kia than anything else that they've. You can see design elements in their other stuff that relates. You know, I can look at it and go, well, that's a standard. That's kind of a Kia design. Like they do that line a lot and a lot of their. This is not that. This is. I mean, there's a little bit in the front end that I see kind of some resemblance to some other models, but by and large, it's unique.
It is very unique, and I think that you're going to see a lot more of this from Kia. Kia is really driven to, I mean, they're touting the new Kia, but this thing it's sharp as heck. It's not going to be on sale in the U.S. until 2022.
Well, it's less than a year away, but
but it's already going to be on sale in other markets. And it won't be long before it's here. And again, this is just another manufacturer getting into the EV market to compete with Tesla. And again, Tesla set the bar long ago. And now if you take a look at the evolution of electric vehicles since Tesla came to the market, it's just amazing to me to see the innovation that's going into some of this stuff. Now, but for me,
specs.
This is pretty killer, man.
Okay, now they kind of learned from, I think, the wild popularity of the Stinger, which to this day,
yes,
you know, we see a Kia Stinger on the road, and my son and I will go, ooh, Kia Stinger, right?
Like, that's a head turner, man.
And those things they're
fast.
Respectable, yeah.
Yes, they're fast. That's basically a Genesis.
They are kind of doing, they're doing what I think Toyota tried to do with their 86, which is an affordable, a lower cost performance type vehicle.
Yeah,
so,
and we need to get into that 86, the new one.
Yeah.
And the new BRZ, because there is some differences between the two, and we won't do that on this particular podcast, but a future podcast we're going to break down that new BRZ and that new 86.
Well,
so stay tuned for that podcast.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified. I think, Jay, that we got a little bonus out of this because they said we want to make a affordable, respectable performance type vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, by the way, now that we've acceleration tested this thing against some other high name, high value competitors, it's smoking some of them. What details do you have on that?
Well, this thing accelerates from 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds, and it has an 800-volt charging capability.
Now, the 0 to 62, they do it that way because it's 0 to 100, and if you're doing the metric system, kilometers, yeah. So there you go.
It beat the Porsche. The Taycan?
Yeah.
Taycan? It beat it, man. It was faster than that. So who would have thought that little old Kia would weigh its vehicle against a Porsche, who is obviously well known in the world?
It's a class competitor in terms of the design style.
Absolutely. And it's unbelievable what they're able to do with this thing. It's not, let's see, it's basically, let's give it some of the dimensions. Okay, this thing is 184 inches long overall. It's 74 inches wide, 61 inches tall. The wheelbase is 114 inches wide. So it's a little shorter, just for perspective, a little shorter, a little narrower, a little lower than the Kia Sorento, which is their gasoline. I think it's an upscale SUV for them. Of course, that's now even less than what's the new one they got out. It's a really luxury. It's like the same. It's the Telluride.
Oh, you're
Kia
thinking
Telluride.
Yeah. Well, that's a big,
That's a big ride. But so just in perspective, it's a little smaller than the Sorento. So, but it's sleek, it's low, it doesn't have to be high. It comes in all-wheel drive, it comes in two-wheel drive. This was a GT model that beat the Porsche. It's an all-wheel drive vehicle, and it has some serious horsepower and torque, and I had those.
Well, the standard battery range, it's a 58 kilowatt hour battery is what they're putting in there, and that's 168 horsepower. But then this GT all-wheel drive version, okay, which has a second electric motor. So they call it all-wheel drive. I hate it when they do that. It's really just two-wheel drive, but it's front and rear axles. Right, so it's two motors. Okay,
that's it. Yep.
And that's a 232 horsepower output. That's a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery on the high end. So now I don't have range details. I don't think they're giving that out yet.
Let's see here. Sitting at the top of the range is the EV6 GT, which is available exclusively with all-wheel drive and long-range battery. It has a combined output 577. Were you saying that or no?
No. That's your combined.
That's 577 horsepower.
But I'm talking like distance charging
range.
We don't know that yet. Yeah.
We don't know that yet. No. Actually, it says besides going fast, the model has a range of 252 miles or 405
kilometers.
Well,
there you go.
So it is there.
There you go.
Now, check this thing out, though. This is what blows my mind. Do you know what the top speed on this thing is, Keith?
Did I read that? No, I don't.
162 miles an hour. That's 260 kilometers an hour.
Okay.
It's an electric vehicle. It's a sedan. I mean, hello. This is what you can do with electric vehicles, guys. This is why you're seeing them show up on, say, the Jeep with their new e-Torque or whatever it is, or e-Power, because I think if you give an electric assist on a four-wheel drive for additional oomph to get up or out or move or whatever, that's if it's electric assist, it makes it's smart. Now, this same technology we podcasted before about these are companies that are forward thinking. And we talked about our good friends over at Airstream that have come up with a trailer, an RV tow behind that is going to be designed specifically for electric vehicles that will help in the assistance of the tow.
Yep.
In other words, it'll have its own electric motors on it that will help you get up that hill or help you reserve battery power or even charge things or run things. So, man, I'm so excited to see this sort of stuff
like
come out.
Back to what we said earlier, this is like just like we planned it, Jay, when we decided to start our endeavor into the social media market, and we said, you know what, we're going to do this because now's the time is right, and we know that in a couple years we're going to have no, we didn't know any of that. We just
Right.
So if you saw this rolling out of a shuttle in the 90s Star Trek Next Generation TV show,
right?
If you saw this roll out of a shuttle bay when they were on like a planetary, off ship mission, you know how they would go down to planets and stuff, you wouldn't bat an eye. You would look at that, right, and you would go, oh yeah, that looks like something 30 years ago, futuristic.
Yeah. It's not uncommon to see this styling become norm now. I mean, because look at where we're at. I mean, this is just, again, it's life imitating art, and I love this. And I think I've said this many times in the past, how big of a Star Trek fan that I am. And Gene Roddenberry to come up with some of those things back in the early 60s, which, by the way, if you guys didn't know it, William Shatner just turned 90 years old.
Wow.
90. He's still getting it, man.
Wow.
He
How
starred
old's his hair?
I don't know, man. But he starred in the first Star Trek episode. I think it was in 1964 or 1965 is when it aired for the first time. So it's 90 years old, dude. I know, it blew me away. So let me give you a little bit more detail on this. Obviously, you guys know that Kia and Hyundai work together very closely. They use typically the same platforms. They're using the same manufacturing facilities here in the U.S. They share a facility, I think, down in Georgia somewhere, both Kia and Hyundai, to produce vehicles. But the EV6 is riding on the Hyundai electric platform. It's called Hyundai Electric Global Modular Platform. And they have 400 volt and 800 volt charging capabilities. And it enables this to go from 10% charge up to 80% charge in just 18 minutes. And that's a significant development.
Now we're into fast food, McDonald's, eating in the restaurant time, right? That's
right.
This whole argument that the Tesla fans, and I get it, like we've driven Teslas, they're amazing cars, but there's this sort of need to defend that hour-long kind of wait, right? It's like, well, right. you would normally... No, I wouldn't. I travel across the country all the time. I do not stop for an hour ever. That is a killer. That is a killer on long trips. 18 minutes? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That is 100% realistic if you've got more than just by yourself. My family, heck, I can't even get them to go use the restroom and grab a snack in 18 minutes. I mean,
no. I've got
an 80-gallon fuel tank, and I can fill that sucker up faster than they can go.
Yeah, this is very respectful, and and again, this is good. This is positive data that is getting out there to show you that the EV market will work very well. So they've addressed a couple things. If you're short on time, it says the rear-wheel drive long-range EV6 can be given 62 miles of range in less than 4.5 minutes. In order to maximize ranges, the EV6 has been equipped with an energy-efficient heat pump that scavenges waste heat from the car's coolant system. It enables the model to have 80% of the range it would at 77 degrees Fahrenheit when temperatures drop to 19 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, we talked about on a recent podcast about thermal efficiency. Even in...
Yeah, this sounds like marketing speak to me, because your traditional...
Well, let me be their marketer, man.
Well, your internal combustion engine, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Where does the heat come from in your in your cabin?
I get it. Yes, I get it.
Your thermostat open.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this isn't anything new.
Understood.
You're pulling heat off the engine.
But I wanted to tie that into thermal efficiency, which we spoke about recently.
Okay.
So thermal efficiency is a big deal. So anyway, so
it is great. I'm not trying to take away
awesome
from it. It's just not like, wow, this is brand new. No, car manufacturers have been pulling heat off the engine to use in their cabin for 100 years. That's
absolutely. I mean, it's just the way it works. Keeps you from having to light a fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to fire one of those up in the vehicle, man. It'd be hard to do. So, but anyway, Kia's taking reservations in select markets right now. I think on this thing, it's like a handful of countries. U.S. is not one of them, but early 2022, they think that they're going to have that out there, and they're also looking at offering up some Stinger EVs as well.
Wow,
which is nice.
Yeah.
So, they expect to sell about 20,000 units annually worldwide, and that number could reach 100,000.
That's a lot. Well, it's worldwide. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's worldwide.
I
but
think
still,
it'll
it's
do better than that.
Right now, EVs are only 1 to 2% of the total.
That's going to change. Yeah,
and I
think
they'll
low
do better
right
than
now
that
with this vehicle. It's a good looking vehicle. If the specs and if the reliability is there, they're poised to do. Again, we said this about the Outlander.
Mm-hmm.
And look at that thing, and everybody loves it. And I'm going to call it again on this one. I'm going to use my mojo. Folks, you heard it here first. I am predicting that this EV6 from Kia is going to be a hot seller here in the United States. I think you're going to see a lot of them on the road.
I'm waiting for that to happen, and it will happen. I'm with you on that. Not to mention Kia, but there's going to be a lot other.
Yeah.
You've got GM that just rolled out their new revamped little crossover Bolt or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
comes with the X-Wing fighter. I've seen the commercials. Yeah. X-Wing fighter follows you around. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that. Yeah.